Hello and welcome back to another episode. My name is PJ. I'm assuming you know that already though, and I will be talking your ear off for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you for joining me once again on the podcast. I am doing my very best to post these every Wednesday night, Melbourne time, and I'm hoping that sort of consistency will make it a little bit easier for the people following along to know when to tune in. I've mentioned on the last few episodes I've been doing this YouTube course and rethinking and rejigging a lot of what I do on the channel and how I approach things, and that's one of the things that I have been thinking a lot about, the schedule, because I know that the YouTubers that I follow, I plan my consumption of their content around their schedule. I know what podcasts are coming out on Friday mornings or what YouTubers post on Sundays and I think the consistency is something that I, as a member of those audience, I look forward to and I look for in their content. Anyway, I've jumped straight in there. I want to talk about a few little life things going on for me outside the channel. First of all, I have a 6-month-old as of today. He is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Being Ziggy's dad is, just an absolutely unbelievable experience. I'm so proud of him and I'm so proud of Jem, and I'm so proud of the little life and the little family that we've got together. He is really the light of my life, and just the joy that he has brought to all of us in our family is just so special. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Things are going well. We've just started eating solids, and by solids I mean purees, but he's just started to eat real food, not just milk, not just breastfed, and that has been a challenge in itself. He's just rolling around. He's trying to crawl. He's just into everything. He's such a busy, I think everyone thinks their kid is smart, but, I could sit there forever and just watch his little brain tick over as he just figures out the world around him. It is honestly the best thing ever. I've probably said this before on the podcast. I say it to people in real life all the time, but it's a funny thing having a kid and starting to tell people that you are expecting a child. People so quickly just want to rattle off all the terrible things about having a kid. But, while it is a challenge, the good outweighs the bad so many times. It is just, he's the most amazing thing. I'm so grateful to have him, and I'm so grateful to, that Jem and I have created this little family. And I thought I'd give a little update. I can't believe I have a 6-month-old already. Before I know it, he'll be trying to walk and talk and all that stuff. So I really am trying to be more present and just be more grateful and enjoy each stage as it comes, rather than just always be looking to the next thing. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest quickly. It's probably the most important and the foremost thing in my life at the moment. Talking about my life, I want to talk this episode about the rules that I live my life by. One thing that has happened since having Zig is my time has become so much more valuable, and my time has become, I just have less time for everything, to be honest. I'm still waking up early and, I leave some time for myself at the start of the day, but even that has become less, because often in the morning I'll wake up a bit before 6, maybe 5:45, and Jem will go to the gym at 6:10, so I'll have to look after Zig for the next hour or so. And there's only so much that I can do while watching him at the same time. So basically what I'm saying is everything that I do, I have become by necessity ultra efficient at what I'm doing. And it's a good thing. And it's funny to look back on the time that I used to take to do things and just the way that I used to live my life, and how just simple it was. How when there's not another little person that you have to worry about and juggle between the two of us and, work around his naps and his bath time and the time that he needs to be fed and all that stuff. It just, life was so simple, and I just didn't realize how much time I had for frivolous things. Now I just really can't justify doing so many things that I loved to spend time on before. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the rules that I live my life by and the things that I think of on a daily basis to, I don't really like using the word motivate, but to perpetuate this, machine that I'm trying to build, to feed this beast that is my passion, that is this YouTube channel and my YouTube audience. So yeah, let's get into that. So the first rule that I live my life by, I would say, is the most important one. It's the 80-20 rule. And if you've watched any of my last 4 or 5 videos, I've probably mentioned it at some time. It's in my channel trailer, and it's sort of becoming the ethos around my channel. It's becoming the mantra, if you will. And that is 80% of the results come from 20% of the inputs. So everything that I do, everything that I learn, everything that I make, I'm trying to apply this. And it's not out of laziness. It's not because I'm trying to get away with getting the most by doing the least. And don't get me wrong, that is a part of it. Obviously, that is that is built in to this Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. But the main reason is I just need to be ultra efficient. I just don't have time to be mucking around now. So basically, I've been keeping up 2 videos on the week on the channel for quite some time, and I pretty much do that in I have 1 day a week to do that. I get sporadic time to edit on the weekends and film some bits and pieces, but the bulk of it, talk about the 80-20 rule, 80% of all the work that I'm doing is every Monday, which is my 1 day off to focus on purely the YouTube channel. And I've been very protective of that, even to Gem, the trapeze, and I've fallen into it so many times already in the past couple of months. But the trapeze, if I'm home, then it's easy to get roped into doing things. And I promise that sounds negative, but the reality is having a little one, and, Gem can't do it on her own. She does a lot on her own while I'm at work for, most of the week. But the reality is, if I really want to make the most of my time and I really want to get the most out of this and my life in general, I really need to protect that Monday. And if I'm going to be taking that Monday off of work, I need to treat it as work. So for all intents and purposes, I've kind of said to Gem, on Mondays, you have to treat it like I am at work. You can't be, popping in all the time to ask things or, ask for help with something or get me to look after Zig. And as much as I want to spend as much time with him and I want to be the most hands-on dad ever, and I do want to help at every possible opportunity to look after him and just be a great dad, on Monday we have to treat it like for those 8 hours I am actually at work. Otherwise, I may as well be at work. I may as well be earning a bit more money rather than working on this, because what's the point if I'm not making the most of it? I'm not doing it just to laze about and have a day off. I'm doing it because I think the sacrifice, this relatively small sacrifice in income, has given me a disproportionate gain in other areas of my life. Talk about 80-20. I'm literally sacrificing 20% of my income, 1/5 of my income, And I would say I'm 80% more happier because of it, because in that time, and, you know, I'm essentially spending that money, or the opportunity cost of getting that money, I'm building this thing that is my passion, and I just feel much better for it. The shoots that I've organized, the videos that I've made, it's really helped me get my groove back, not just as a photographer, but as a human being. You know, I'm just really happy and confident with my place in the world. And yeah, I've said this to Kurt before, but truthfully, my skills as a photographer haven't really improved that much. It's just my belief, just my self-belief. Yeah. And a lot of that has come from just spending the extra time on this channel, organizing the shoots and getting out and taking pictures and just making stuff that I'm really passionate about. And I'm going to continue to do so for as long as I can. This is not so much of a rule as a quote, but it's just a way that I can keep things ticking along. I recently read a book, or I listened on Audible to a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And I suppose if I was to try and boil it down, the entire purpose of this book is, you know, the thesis of the book is that great things happen when you set aside time to do proper, meaningful, deep work. Like, I'm not talking about replying to emails or organizing my desk or updating my portfolio. I'm talking about actually getting down to business, and the business of creating. And it doesn't matter what field you're in. Obviously, for me, it's shooting and editing videos at the moment. It's getting out and, organizing photo shoots, shooting portraits, doing stuff to perpetuate this channel, because this is my number one passion at the moment. But, you know, if you're a writer, actually getting down to business and putting pen to paper and writing something, it almost doesn't matter what. It just matters that you put in, you know, you pay the tax man, you put in the work, and you hone your craft. And yeah, there's no other way to say it. The phrase is deep work. And I think what Cal Newport is trying to say is it's not just about the making, it's about what you get out of that. It's about not cheating. There are so many ways to cheat in life now, you know, whether it's, if you want to feel good, you can go and take a little pill, you know. People do recreational drugs on the weekend, or drink alcohol, or something like that is literally going to give you, by design, a good feeling, and to dump a little bit of serotonin or whatever hormones they are to give you dopamine, to give you a good feeling. Whereas I think what Cal Newport is trying to say is deep work, you know, really properly dedicating yourself and putting in the time to the craft that you're put on this earth to do, is where real personal fulfillment and enjoyment is going to come from. So this was a quote that there's a couple of quotes. They may not be word for word, but these are some things that I've taken away from that book. The number one is, if you don't have enough motivation, you don't have enough deadlines. That is just so, so true. So I've done this a couple of different ways. I've done the commitment contracts. At the moment, I've committed to doing 2 videos a week. The podcast that I'm talking on right now, the point of the podcast, I really wanted to make, you know, give it a good crack, do a full year of podcasts, 52 podcasts. And then after that, if it doesn't work, or I'm not having fun doing it, or for whatever reason, I just want to stop, then it is what it is. But I really want to give it the full year, and give it the time it deserves. Anyway, the dedication to shooting, editing, and uploading every week. I've recently just committed to doing Wednesdays and Sundays for my uploads now. You know, to me, this is a deadline, non-negotiable, that I can't miss. Doesn't matter that I don't have the commitment contract going anymore, and I don't have someone breathing down my neck, or it doesn't matter that I'm not told off if I don't make those deadlines. For me, it's motivation enough. And the deadlines, it's the chicken or the egg. What comes first, the doing or the motivation? Do you have to be motivated to do something, or does doing something create the motivation? In fact, I think, and I think there's a lot of evidence to say that it's actually the process of doing that creates the motivation. It's by just creating some sort of momentum and some sort of, what's the word? Just putting things into motion. It's that motion that is going to create the motivation, that is going to keep the motion going. So I understand that everybody falls off at some point. No, you can't keep it up forever. Nobody's perfect. But at the time of recording this right now, I feel like I can keep it going indefinitely. And obviously everyone feels like that when they're inspired, but just where I am in my life, what's going on with my family and my work at the moment, this is just exactly what I want to be doing. Here's another good one. I only write when I'm inspired. Fortunately, I'm inspired at 9 o'clock every morning. I forgot which writer this was. It might have been William Faulkner. I don't really know anything about William Faulkner, but apparently he's a prolific writer, and it's just perfect. I have to say, sometimes the most daunting thing is not what you think would be the hard thing. It's not actually rocking up to a photo shoot and meeting the client and figuring out the job and doing all that stuff and shooting and editing. Sometimes the most daunting thing is waking up on a Monday morning and having no idea what I'm going to film or what video I'm going to create that day. Sitting down to a blank screen or a blank page, that is the most daunting thing, because the possibilities are endless. And it's almost more difficult. It's almost made more difficult sometimes because there is no one breathing down my neck, because, in all of our 9-to-5 jobs, there's a very finite period to complete things in. And because of that, we have to be extremely efficient. It doesn't matter what you do, if you're an accountant or a teacher or whatever else. There are real, tangible deadlines and consequences if you don't make those deadlines. And it is pretty daunting as a creator, no matter what field you're in. If you're a writer, painter, musician, whatever, to just sit down and confront the blank page, that is the hardest thing. I suppose it's part of the whole, does the motion create the motivation, or do you need the motivation to get the motion happening, the chicken or the egg? And then further to that, just doing one of the other quotes, I'm pretty sure this is from Deep Work. I wrote it down in my notes. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from, is doing the work trumps talent every time. Just goes back to the 10,000 hours thing. No one starts great at anything. But for me, I know when I haven't done something, a particular shoot, a particular type of job or whatever for a while, I start to doubt myself. And, maybe when those shoots do come up, I feel a little bit, anxious or unsettled or nervous or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think just consistently doing the work, the fact that I have done 2 videos a week for so long, it means doing 2 videos a week is not a daunting thing. I'm pretty much at my limit with the time that I have at the moment, but because 2 videos, especially after you've done it, after I've done my quota for the week, it feels like, okay, that wasn't so bad. That was actually pretty easy, even if it was a struggle during the week. Because it feels easy, I sometimes think, how can I scale it up more? How can I get in 3 videos a week? Or can I do 1 large video and 2 smaller videos, something like that? Just putting in the work is so much more valuable than talent. I feel really lucky that, my unfair advantage in this game is, and perhaps it's not so much an unfair advantage in the photo and video space that I'm sort of playing in on YouTube, but I feel like so much about my advantage is actually that, many, many YouTubers have to learn how to shoot and edit. And not that I'm making a masterpiece every week, but this is a skill set that I already have. And, another competitive, another unfair advantage I have, I suppose, is that I am a working professional photographer. I'm a full-time professional commercial photographer. And that's where a lot of people want to be, not to try and toot my own horn or inflate my own head. But the truth of it is, a lot of people, if you're searching for tutorials and you're searching for whatever on YouTube, if you're on there to learn about photography, the truth is that it's probably because you would really love to make an income, side income, full time. You would love to be making money from photography, and I feel really grateful that I already have that. Cool. All right, we are on quite a ramble today. Let's talk about a couple of other rules quickly. I would say both of these have probably come from Matt Diavella on YouTube. If not, maybe Tim Ferriss. Maybe the 5-minute rule is also Tim Ferriss. But yeah, anyway, the 5-minute rule is the first one. Talk about just being super efficient with your time. There are so many things in the day-to-day that you just put off forever, especially as an adult. There are just so many little things. Forms that you have to send, you have to clean your bathroom sink or unpack the dishwasher or, vacuum the carpet, just all these little, minute things. And this is a little bit of a contradiction because I was sort of raving before about deep work and not mucking around with, things that don't really matter. But all of these little tasks in our lives, they have a weight to them. There's a certain stress that weighs on your shoulders if you have a bunch of little tasks that build up that haven't, that you just are never getting around to, that you're never going to get around to. So one thing, the 5-minute rule, I'm pretty sure that came from Tim Ferriss actually, but Matt Diavella probably spoke about it as well. But if it takes less than 5 minutes, just do it now. It's amazing how many things you can tick off your list if you just do it. Like I mentioned, it could be as small as making your bed. You've walked past your bedroom 6 times today, and every time you walk past, you see the messy bed and the messy room, and it's more visual clutter, it's more physical clutter, and it's just something that doesn't need to be there. So it only takes a minute and a half to pull up the sheets, put your pillows in order, and then it's done for the day. 5-minute rule. Every time you eat something and you stack another dish in the sink, just wash it or just unpack the dishwasher and stack it with your dirty dishes. It's so easy. The 5-minute rule can be applied to so many different areas of your life, and I really think it is so, so valuable. This next one was definitely a Matt Diavella. I remember him talking about this ages ago, and I just rewatched an old video and rediscovered it again tonight, but the 2-day rule. And this is about keeping a streak alive, whether it's going to the gym or, uploading YouTube videos or whatever it is, the 2-day rule. So if there's something that you need to do every day. So for me, every morning I wake up and do my stretches, I do my breathing exercises, my meditation, whatever. And this is where the 2-day rule comes into play. Obviously, you want to build that big streak of days in a row that you're doing something. But if you fall off for one day, if you break the habit for one day, that doesn't mean you should break the habit for good. So the 2-day rule is you can have a day off every now and then. If for whatever reason you're too busy, you're too tired, you're too sick, you're too whatever, if you can't keep that streak alive and you miss out on going to the gym for one day, that's fine, but never miss 2 days in a row. Same for my exercises in the morning. I really feel it if I don't do my exercises and stretches and my Wim Hof breathing and all that in the morning, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it and make a big fuss about how I've missed the habit and now that I've broken the streak, it's not worth doing. 2-day rule, I have to pick it back up the next day, and if I that's when I'm in trouble. But if you are present enough, if you are clear enough in your own head and mature enough to recognize that you've missed once, make sure you don't miss again. It's that little extra life in video game terms, and I just think it is, again, just such a small, easy thing to implement in your life, no matter what habit you're trying to build. Because let's be honest, we exist as all of these tiny habits that we do. We basically are a culmination of the small habits that we do in our daily lives, the things that we do without realizing. That really makes up who we are. I hope this episode hasn't been too selfish. I know I've applied a lot of this stuff to myself, but I really want to emphasize that I'm not trying to preach in a way that I have it all figured out, and I'm not trying to be anyone's guru. The real point of this channel is that I want to be a guide. I want to be someone who is along for the journey with the viewer, or rather, I want the viewer to be along for the journey with me. And I think that's so much more valuable than someone just talking down to an audience or talking at an audience. I really want to be on this journey together. And if you one of the smaller group of weekly listeners to the podcast, I know I know you guys are out there. I thank you for being along the journey with me, and I'm sorry if this has been a little bit more selfish and self-reflective this episode. I think I just want to put it out into the universe, sort of what my goals are and what my life looks like 3 years from now. Here's another quote for you. It's also from Tim Ferriss, but it's something along the lines of, we greatly overestimate what we can achieve in a year and underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years. So talk about building habits and, a culmination of those habits. I think the concept of compound interest is just so important. And I think doing something consistently for a period of, 2 to 5 years, no matter what field you're in, I just think that is so, so powerful. Just small, consistent actions. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. Anyway, 3 years from now, I obviously would love to be in control of my own life and the life of my family. I don't think there's a person in the world who it wouldn't be their dream to dictate what they do, when they do it, how they make their money, and, enjoy the process, to love what you do and to really wake up and, be passionate about what you're doing. Obviously, like whose long-term goal is not something along those lines, or, whose dream would not be something along those lines. My main goal for the channel is, I would love it if the channel could be a conduit for me to do things that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. If the channel could open doors for me with people that I could shoot, or, things that I could shoot that I wouldn't normally have access to, or, if I could be paid to shoot things that I love because I can get a sponsor on a video, or I can promote a product that I use or that I've created or that I love, and that would allow me to go out and shoot a piece of content that I would really love to do, or take someone's portrait that I would love to spend time with, but otherwise wouldn't be able to justify taking that time out of my week to spend time with. I think that'd just be absolutely awesome. Basically, if the channel could open doors for me to shoot and work and live the life that I want to live when I want to live it, that's the goal. And I'm putting this out into the world because I am going to watch this in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I can't wait to see what life looks like at that point. Okay, thank you once again for sticking it out all the way to the end. If you have made it this far and you're still listening to my voice, I would love it if you could leave a little burning heart emoji down below. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. See, let's separate the legends from the not so legends. Yeah, the best way you can support this content, as always, is to leave a like and a thoughtful comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.